Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. Ray here. We coming to you with facts over feelings. So hopefully, I can't even say it with a straight face. With that being said, yo, we're gonna talk about a video that Kireth made that I think brings some valuable insight, but I think his math wasn't mathing for me, and the whole time I watched it, I was really just confused, and he was pulling things out that weren't really making sense to me. And I think it's a video you should check out. And in fact, the link is down below. Check that out before watching this. Otherwise, you'll have no context. So I will pause and wait for you to come back. All right, so you should be back by now, and if you didn't watch it, well, then this may not make sense to you, or it may. I'll try and explain. He tried to compare that LMU and iRacing, at least in year one, that you may be spending more money on LMU than you would iRacing. Now, that makes no sense to me because his methodology of getting to this math makes no sense, and any logical person shouldn't take this route to get to where he is saying. But again, you have the option to take that route. I just don't think it's the most plausible route or a route you should take right now. Maybe in the future, in 5 years, when there's more content on LMU, it may be worth it. But for right now, I wouldn't take this route. His route is getting the pass for LMU. But first, let's take a look at iRacing here, and we'll pull up iRacing, and you'll see for the 1 year membership, it's $66. So it's normally $110, but as a newcomer, you're going to get it for $66. Now, that just gives you access to the sim. You can race in a lot of rookie races. You'll be able to race in maybe some Class D, but not much, because simply you got to buy the stuff to race. All of the tracks and all the cars, but not all, but a majority of the ones you really want to race on costs money. Yes, there is a base level package you get to race in. And again, you can race in any rookie series you want. And the great thing about iRacing, it has 4 different disciplines. It has oval, it has dirt oval, it has road, it has dirt road, and it has different types of cars, whether you want to race in formula cars or GT cars or prototype cars, and just a litany of content available you to race. And if you are a sim racing enthusiast, this is the best sim to race on right now in 2025, but it's going to cost you. And I think part of the argument he was making, I just totally disagree with. And for me, it falls flat when you do the math and the math starts mathing correctly for you. So again, $66 for the base game. That gets you all of the rookie content for the most part, and you can drive and just play around and get to learn the sim and all of those things. Where iRacing will make its money not only in the subscription, but it's getting you the a la carte items, kind of like going to Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, once I get you in the door, now it's giving you this big menu, and if I can get you to get a bunch of appetizers, a few drinks, get a meal, get a dessert, get a whole cheesecake, then the rest is, kind of, you're spending $300 at the door and you meant to spend 50. That's what iRacing is. It's meant to get you to sign up and get more content. So the $66 for the membership really kind of goes out the window as you build more content, and we'll talk about that here soon. And again, his methodology was if you get the $66 and you get a few items, then the prices may vary. And again, let's take a look at those few items that he was telling you. And in here, he's talking about, well, if you get the iRacing yearly subscription, now he has it at $45. If you're getting it for the year, as we just looked at, it's actually $66. So we'll go back to that here. So his math, again, is a little off because it's $66 for the 1 year with the 40% off. If you get it during Black Friday, it drops even more than the 40%. But again, that means you're having to wait. You can't race now. You got to race later. So just looking at that cost of when you're getting the game, it's going to vastly differ. Okay. Also in there, you see he has 2 cars and 4 tracks, and we'll explain that later, but that's $84. And then you get a 15% discount when you get certain items. And after you get to a certain point, you get more discounts the more you spend. The goal is to get you to spend more money to get those discounts that benefit you for getting more content later. So again, based on this initial argument, unless you get it during Black Friday, you're not saving. You're getting it $66, which costs you even more. So that's even $21 more than he's expecting. So with that being said, now looking at LMU is where he made a claim that if you were to essentially spend and get the $84 pack that you see here, which is going to be the early access pricing or the Race Control Pro Plus, whatever that is. Race Control Pro Plus is really cool. Trying to say that fast. Trying to say it 5 times fast and see what happens. You get all of the stuff you see here, which again, many of the things on here I think should be included in the base game. That's just me. But again, being that they don't charge as much as iRacing, I get why they're trying to monetize some of these areas. But for $84, you get all of this content. And his thing is, well, for $84, you get the Pro Plus, but you also get all of the DLC and all of the R Factor 2 DLC, which he doesn't mention, which I think is a clear omission that you get all the content for two separate games. And you can likely find these games not just on Steam, but many times you can find them on things like, CD keys and things like that, where you can get the game for like $9, $20, $15, and you can find discounts that make the game even cheaper than what you can find right now, something you just really can't get in any other game. So again, with that, iRacing again is showing you the cost is more expensive. But here's the problem with his argument. $84, why would you pay for this on top of buying the game? So let's be honest, the game here is going to cost you $33.05 right now. That's the base game, right? Base game is going to cost you 33 bucks. Again, iRacing, as we saw, is going to cost you $66. So I can get $66, I can spend $33 and get the base game. Now, iRacing is going to come with more right out the gate. If you're a NASCAR fan, you shouldn't even this conversation ends, you should have turned this video off and you shouldn't even tune in. I mean, if you're open wheel fan, again, conversation ends. Turn this video off. Stop watching it. Like, subscribe, follow, but don't watch this video. But if you're into road racing and you do GT3s, prototypes, whether it be P2s or GTPs, then the conversation changes quite drastically. Because for $33, you get access to racing all of those series right out the gate. There is no Mazda MX-5, so if you want to race in Mazdas, you do get that in iRacing. But right out the gate, you get, for $33, you get a whole base game. For another $51.55, as you see here, well, what does that get you? It gets you all of the DLC for LMU. All of it. Done. Paid for. Nothing else to pay for after that. You get cars, you get tracks, you're done. Now you've paid, what is that, $84 all in. The 85 bucks. All in. Done. Nothing else you have to pay for the rest of the year. That's $84. Well, that goes back to the cost of the Race Logic, a Race Control Pro Plus. Why would you spend $84 on this unless you play R Factor 2 and you want all the content there and you want the custom liveries, the online championships, and some of the things? But it's not necessary. It's totally optional. In fact, I would tell you don't even buy this unless, like, you want, like, for me, I wanted access to the practice servers so that I can jump into practice earlier because you get the extended registration that you see here. So for me, like, I don't think this is worth spending the 84 bucks when we've clearly shown you that if you just spend the little bit of money you see here, then for $85 you get everything, and why would you spend 84 on top of the base game? So you don't get the base game with Race Control Plus or Pro Plus, you just get the DLC. So again, not really worth it to spend the extra money, especially when, again, you compare it to, as he was saying, the cost of what you're going to pay for iRacing. Now, this is at $117. He was valuing LMU at 122, and the reason he got there is he was pretty much combining, let's look at this here. Oh, let's get the right screen. He was combining the actual full game cost of $38 plus Race Control Plus. And again, it doesn't make sense. So, looking at that argument he makes about, well, going with iRacing, and this is what he would say: if you got the $45 iRacing, you would get 4 tracks and 2 cars, and then you get the 15% discount, so the maths to $117, and then the discounts would apply appropriately. Here's where it goes bonkers for me. So if you get LMU, you can race in, and you get all of the DLC, you can race in every series. Everything. Every track, every car, just license up, race in everything. And again, will you be able to do some of the special events? No, because you don't get that as part of LMU, but you get quite a bit with the regular free light one. So again, with that being said, I would go that route. But like, as we look, and I'm going to show you this in iRacing, if you were to buy 2 cars and 4 tracks, okay, and his recommendation was you buy the Ferrari 296, because the 296, to me, yes, that is a great car to buy based on iRacing, because the Ferrari 296 will get you into the Ferrari Challenge, and you can use that car in every GT race thereafter, and to buy a GTP car or something along those lines. Or even buying like a different car, like an open wheel car, if you want to do that. And he recommended buying 4 tracks, because there's a level of repeated tracks that always race in these types of series because they're very popular. like, Road America, Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, Sebring, Daytona, whether it's Silverstone, or like there's some tracks that just always are going to be on the series and you're always going to race them. But if you only buy 2 cars and 4 tracks, well, the problem is you can't complete an entire season. And when you complete an entire season in iRacing, you get, or at least 8 races in a 12 race season, you get what is called $4 back in credits that you can use. So you can race in a bunch of different series, take those $4 that you get back in credits and use it to apply to buy something else, which is absolutely awesome. But let's look at the 296 challenge that we have here. And what's wonky is like, if you just got this car in 4 tracks, right? And we look at the schedule and I scroll down and I show you, let's look at all of the races. Let's say you get Watkins Glen, Silverstone, Spa, and maybe Daytona. Like those are 4 tracks that you buy. Well, you won't have Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you won't have Monza, you won't have Zandvoort, you won't have Le Mans, you won't have, like I think Thruxton may be free. You won't have Hungaroring. Let's see. Monza is on here twice. I'm not sure why they have it on here twice, but like this track is free. Like, yes, you get some. You won't have, like, you'll have to pick and choose, and you may finish the season completely, or you may not. So as you level up, and every season the tracks change. So you get to a point where now there's going to be a problem. I don't have enough cars and tracks to finish an entire season. Or I have 2 cars and I can race in GT3 or I can race in GTP and I've leveled up, but I can't finish an entire season. So then you won't get the credits. And what's the point of buying a game if I can't race the entire season if they have official seasons? And to me, that's what makes iRacing great, is being able to compete against your friends and compete the whole season and see where you fall in the rankings depending on what class you're in and how strong you are and your I rating and your safety rating and all of those things. So like you miss out on a lot of those races. Now, his other argument was that, well, this is where you're going to get the best real racing. And that's a valid argument. I do agree. iRacing is where you're going to get the best, most valid, real racing that you're going to get on any sim. But I'm not a real race car driver, and I never will be in a real race car. Maybe I'll sit in one day because I'm lucky, but driving around track, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And most of us never will. Now, saying yes, Ray, well, that's why we have iRacing, because I want to be able to get the chance to race in a real car and simulate what's going to happen here or there, and corners and apexes and slip angles and differential and brake bias, and you want to do all of the things. And that's absolutely great. But it's still a video game. And at the end of the day, I don't know about you, I still want to enjoy the video game that I play. And I want to have as much content as possible to be able to get all the various cars and tracks. I've spent over $1,300 on this game. I will not spend over $1,300 on LMU, no matter how long it's out. Like, I'd have to spend a lot of money every year for like a decade to even get close. And that's if they keep up with the same pace that they have now. And if they have the Race Control Plus and it just keeps giving you all the content for one low price every year, I could spend 10 years worth of $84 after this year and never ever get close to that 1,300 I've spent for another 5+ years. So 15 years to get closer to that. And again, that's a whole nother thing we have to open up. So again, iRacing has the best, most realistic racing overall of any sim on the market. It is a service. It is not a video game like most others. It's more of an MMO. And again, it has real racing. And if you want to race real cars, like Kireth was saying, he's raced real cars. So he knows more about it than I would. And I give him credit there. But it's still a video game. And as much as you want to get to know one car, let's say, like many of you, you get to know the Mazda, you become really good at the Mazda, you're so good, but you level up and you get the 296. And you become great at the 296 and super fast. And then you level up to GTP and you get the Ferrari 499 and you become amazing at it. But the problem is, even as amazing as you are, you still want to race that car that you're now amazing at more tracks. So that means every year you're having to buy more tracks. You're having to buy more content. And again, as real as it gets, maybe you want to try a BMW. Maybe you want to try an Aston Martin. Maybe you want to try, the Cadillac GTP. Again, the cost will start to balloon, and that's going to be the difference between the two sims. What I think what you should do is stop comparing either one of them. They're both great games. Have fun, enjoy it, race, be fast, compete. Maybe you get on an esports team. Maybe you become part of the industry in some way, and then you just have fun. But we don't, and we shouldn't compare the two, because you're going to spend different money on different sims, and you're going to spend what you think is more valuable to you and not necessarily what I think is more valuable. Because at the end of the day, both of them are great sims. I enjoy them both. I enjoy them both for different reasons. In fact, I've been racing LMU far more recently than I have iRacing. That's because I just enjoy the LMP2 and it sounds and feels great in LMU. And I like it in iRacing, but it seems like LMU just feels the way it feels to me just feels better. But it's subjective. iRacing may feel better to you. So, with that being said, that's my argument. I think his math was not mathing. I think at the end of the day, even if it's year one, you'd be foolish to just look at the money aspect of iRacing versus LMU. Instead, look at the cars you want to drive, the techniques you want to learn, how immersed you want to be in sim racing, and what your budget actually is. Because more importantly, your budget matters to you more than me telling you it matters. And again, race either, race both, race neither of them and pick up AMS2, have fun with your friends, and I will be there maybe with you at some point. So, as always, if you like this video, like my content, Kireth, thanks for posting that video, and I think I'm going to do more of these talking head. You guys let me know what you think of these, because maybe this is cool. Maybe it's something you want to see. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Talk to you later. Peace.